Hi, this is Chris from GrowQuest, and we're at more or less the 1 month, depending on what we got planted, maybe a month and a half checkup here on the edible landscape. And you can see right away, I can see right away, where things are going very well and where things are, well, trouble in paradise very quickly. The grapefruit is doing extremely well because it has lots of new foliage busting out, and the grapefruit itself is getting so heavy that the limbs are bending over. So it's going to be important to come in and take some nursery sticks and make some little supports to hold up the grapefruit, or it's just going to literally break the tree or break the branches at the sensitive points on the tree. So it's still, the grapefruit itself still has maybe 2-3 more months at least to get ripe, and in the meantime it's just overwhelming this tree with the weight of it. Our large Haas avocado, you see this bronze growth coming out, means it's doing really well. There's a lot of bronze new growth popping out, so it's doing great. And the fruit that arrived on the tree is still on the tree, which is a big plus because fruit falling off really blows. And that often happens when people forget to water properly. So this tree still has a huge amount of fruit on it. It's going to get very mature for picking this next March. So it's doing really well. Blueberries, I don't see any new growth of, well, there's a little bit here. I can tell you already that the blueberries got planted too low. I was not here for that, so that's my disclaimer. They needed to be planted high, and right now they're planted low, and they're getting wet roots, very wet roots. A little bit of new growth here, but the forecast is not good for the blueberries that are planted low. There's different elevations here. And obviously the avocado sits anywhere from 2 to 3 feet above a lot of the other plants in the landscape, so it has a drainage advantage. However, this is where problems are quickly beginning to mount. And here we find the citrus tree that looks very dried out. It's because it's actually drowning. And there's not any new growth, new activity here on this blood orange, but there's nothing bad yet going on. But I do have a piece of 4-inch perforated drain pipe in here that I use to help with the management of the plants, for checking up on water, getting more air into the root systems. And I just looked a little bit ago, and it had a lot of water in it. So I got this stick off a delivery tree. Oh my God, so we've got almost 12 inches of water at the base of this tree. So right now it tells me that the root system is beginning to suffocate. If we pulled this tree out of the ground, we would find that it's in an anaerobic state, which means that it's just beginning to really stink down there badly. So this tree is going to need to be lifted up, and going to have to make some adjustments to the sprinkler system. Also, I got my damn stick so wet, it's going to be hard to see where the other plants fall into this. But you can see up here a little bit higher, we have the reed avocado. The reed's bursting forth with lots of new growth. It's a little bit higher up than some of the other plants, has better drainage. I'm going to turn the stick around to see what's down there. And perfect. All the way down about 18 inches in the root system, and no wetness. Well, there's wetness, but no sitting water. We got a Valencia orange here. Same thing, it's not sitting in water. So these lower lying plants, blood orange, mini latangelo, I think Tango Mandarin is right here, and a fukushu. The fukushu actually looks like it's lost a lot of leaves and lost all of its blooms. It was bursting forth in blooms. It is not looking as happy a plant, although some of those blooms have developed quickly into fruit. Since there's no new leaves here and there's no blooms, Fuchsia is very prone to blooming, so without any activity going on, it's safe to say that it's also very wet. We've got our Tango, new generation seedless mandarin, clementine for those who wish that, and put the stick down here, and it's sitting in about 5 inches of water. So again, very, very wet. Tree's going to need to be lifted up a little bit in order to get the root system invigorated, and just overall, you have to be really careful in how things are planted, and then how the plants are irrigated after they go in the ground. We're going to go back here where I've gotten a report that something isn't right. I already did take a look at it a moment ago. So we've got our ocean view planter area, which is mostly figs and tomatoes. Well, I guess figs, citrus, and tomatoes, but this was a beautiful fig on delivery. It's a white Genoa, very tasty fig. I was getting reports the leaves are curling up, which did make sense because it was grown by an exceptionally good grower. Not me, but an exceptionally good grower. And it arrived in mint condition. I lifted it out of the soil and immediately got a big stink, which means it's just been sitting in water. And that's kind of where we're at down here. I don't have a shovel. Yeah, spank me, but I was in a hurry today. Been dealing with some distractions. But we can see it's very, very wet here, and I know that the property owner and the gardener put a lot of water on these plants. So when that happens, the roots begin to rot. The rot turns into a stench, and then the plant, actually, even though it's sitting in water, begins to dry out. And we see that with a little bit of sucking up in the tissue on the branch. The fruit begins to contract instead of expand because it's dehydrating, and the leaves begin to curl. So I'll be forwarding the little video report over to the customer and letting him know some changes that need to be done to try and fix the matter. It's a matter of policy for a higher-end property or a property where you're trying to maintain some good looks. This fig is done for this year. It would have to be cut back and is not going to be looking good until next spring, even though it's got months more of a growing season ahead of it. By the time the roots are regrown out, it's just going to have gone through too much of a struggle, and that's just where that's at. Ideally, the property owner would just replace it with a healthier fig, and that's where that would be at. Other than that, the rest of the paradise still looks magnificent. You can only dream. Anyways, this is the post-planting report of the lower area.